In my past life, I abandoned my husband and daughter, broke my parents' hearts, and recklessly ran off with a manipulative man. In the end, I was set up, my husband died in despair, my daughter became an orphan, and I met a miserable end. Reborn, I opened my eyes again to face my husband's disappointed gaze and my daughter's timidness. Let redemption and revenge come even more fiercely. I left my husband and child for you, made my parents sick with anger, and this is how you treat me. My company went bankrupt, and I'm in a terrible mood. I had just bought some liquor and returned home when I ran into my boyfriend, Feng Jun, and my best friend, Liu Yuan. The two of them were only wearing very revealing clothes, hugging each other in my bedroom, and there were used tools in the trash can. Seeing this scene, my head buzzed, and I completely exploded, reaching the peak of anger. To make matters worse, I lost my composure and hurled the wine bottle at them with all my strength. Bang! The wine bottle smashed against the wall, splattering wine and shards of glass everywhere, just like my shattered heart. The next second, slap, a sharp slap landed forcefully on my face. My face instantly burned with heat. I widened my eyes and looked over in disbelief. My boyfriend, who usually obeyed my every word, was now glaring at me with a fierce expression. He cursed at me with a look of disgust. Bitch. I slept with your best friend. So what? You're no good either. You deserve it, bitch. These two words made me feel as if I had fallen into an icy cellar, feeling incredibly ironic. Then I saw Liu Yuan holding Feng Jun's arm, giving me a provocative look. One is my boyfriend, whom I divorced, abandoned my daughter, and broke ties with my parents to be with. One is the person I trust the most, my best friend. This scene was like the last straw that broke the camel's back. My heart ached and felt suffocated, and I fell to the ground, clutching my chest. I gasped for breath, struggling to reach out, hoping they would save me, but all I saw was their cold, indifferent eyes. Feng Jun looked disgusted. Is she going to die? Liu Yuan looked down at me with contempt. It would be better if she died. After all, we've already taken over her company. At this moment, I finally realized how ridiculous I had been. I regret it. I'm unwilling. I wish I could start all over again. But I feel my life slipping away bit by bit, heading towards its end. My soul slowly rises, drifting. I see the scumbags, who took over my company, living very comfortably. I am filled with grief and indignation, yet there is nothing I can do. Yes, I deserve all of this. I have let down my husband, and even more so, my daughter. On the 7th day after my death, I mustered the courage to drift to my husband's home. My husband's diary was on the bed, and he was flipping through it. June 1st, 2016. Today we got married, and I finally married the woman I love. I vowed to treat her well for the rest of my life. August 5th, 2018, our daughter was born. It seems I'll have to work even harder to support the two of them from now on. August 2nd, 2024, my wife hasn't come home for 3 days and has asked for a divorce. I know she has someone else, but if she's willing to come back, I can still pretend nothing happened. October 5th, 2024. What should I do? I really can't hold on anymore. I miss her so much. I looked guiltily at my husband, who was drunk from sadness. Chiwe, Chiwe. Even though he was drunk, my husband was still murmuring my name. I'm floating on the ceiling. My soul feels like it's being torn apart from the pain. My husband's love for me has been unwavering from the start. He loves me to the core, yet I betrayed him. I have let down the person who loves me the most in this world. I came back to my daughter's room again. She's only 4 years old. Even in her sleep, she was sobbing, "Mommy, Mommy, don't leave me." Watching my daughter helplessly wave her little hands, I knew she was having a nightmare. "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy." The daughter woke up, crying and shouting, looking everywhere for her mother. Yao. No matter how loudly I shouted, my daughter couldn't hear my voice. "Mom, Yao, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Hurry back. I want to hold my Yao. Husband, wake up quickly. Yao is looking for her mom." I am both anxious and helpless, wishing I could be by my child and husband's side right away. "Husband, I know I was wrong. I truly regret it. How I wish we could go back to how things were before." At that moment, I discovered that my husband had actually stopped breathing. He never had a good tolerance for alcohol to begin with. "Husband, wake up, I beg you." I was frantic with worry, but no matter how much I called out, he couldn't hear me, and there was nothing I could do. "Husband, don't die. Someone, please save my husband." I was extremely anxious, but couldn't help him at all. My husband is going to die. My heart was utterly broken, and I fainted from the shock. When my soul awakened again, my husband was already dead. It was all because of me that I caused his death. I am truly in so much pain. Perhaps this is heaven's punishment for me. And my daughter, Mom wants to see you again. Both my husband and I are dead, so she can only live with her lame grandmother. When I found my daughter Yao, I saw her small figure Wearing dirty clothes, dragging a bag full of garbage, she followed her limping grandmother, picking up trash. Yes, I've squandered all my wealth, my husband is dead, and my daughter and mother-in-law have no source of income. Daughter, I'm sorry. I want to hug my daughter, but I can't even touch her. My heart aches so much, I could only wander behind them. A few days later, my mother-in-law fell ill and was bedridden. My Yao Yao had to go pick up trash alone. I saw her pick up half a steamed bun from the trash can and bring it to her mouth. No, Yao Yao, it's dirty, don't eat garbage. I wanted to stop her, but I was powerless. Yao Yao curled up into a ball, crying as she ate the dirty bun. Dad, Mom, I'm hungry, I deserve to die. It's Mom who deserves to die. Thud. At that moment, several more children began hurling stones at Yao Yao. Beggar, stone her to death, you filthy little thing. They laughed as they threw the stones. Don't bully my daughter. I stood in front of them, but the stones passed right through me. I couldn't protect my daughter at all. Then, in the distance, two men with shifty eyes approached. The man with triangular eyes muttered quietly, "There are no adults around, let's take her." I was startled. At that moment, two men approached Yao Yao with ill intentions. "Yao Yao, there are human traffickers, run." But Yao Yao couldn't hear my words. I heard another dark, fat man say sinisterly to the man with triangular eyes, "Take her to the mountain gully, cripple her, and she won't be able to run away. They want to cripple my daughter, my flesh and blood. She's so well behaved, she's only 4 years old. Don't touch my daughter." I was heartbroken and went up to pull them away. But it was useless. I could only watch helplessly as they dragged Yao Yao away. My soul was in such agony, as if it were being roasted over a fire. "Daughter, I am a sinner. I deserve to die, to be torn to pieces. It was I who ruined you. My soul is also fading away bit by bit." Suddenly, I woke up with a start. I have been reborn. I sat up abruptly, finding myself in my bedroom at home. Could it be a dream? I repeatedly observed and confirmed until, finally, I was certain, at this time. I haven't gotten divorced yet, my husband is still alive, and my daughter hasn't been kidnapped. That's great, everything can start over. I cried tears of joy, thanking heaven for giving me a chance to live again. In this life, I will cherish them with all my heart. Daughter, yes, my daughter. I rushed out of the bedroom and saw Yao Yao sitting obediently on a stool. She was holding a bowl larger than her face, drinking the cold noodle soup left from the instant noodles. She was so small. Just starting kindergarten, she should have been at an age to be pampered by her parents, but in my previous life, I, as her mother, didn't care much for her, and I don't know how much hardship she endured. Overwhelmed with guilt, I quickly went over and took the bowl from her. My heart ached as I looked at Yao Yao. "Don't drink this, Mommy will go cook for you." When I reached out to touch her, she immediately shied away. Looking at me timidly, I awkwardly withdrew my hand. Knowing that I had neglected her too much in the past, as a mother, I am simply not qualified. In an instant, my heart was filled with immense bitterness. I tried hard to hold back, but I couldn't control the tears from flowing down. "Mom will go make something delicious for you." I wiped away my tears and was just about to head to the kitchen when Yao Yao suddenly hugged my leg. As I bent down, she used her little hand to wipe my eyes. She lowered her head and comforted me with a tearful voice. "Yao Yao isn't hungry, Yao Yao eats very little. I'm willing to go to Grandma's house and won't be a burden to Mom and Dad." "Mom, don't cry, my heart aches with a sharp pain. What on earth have I done to deserve this? My daughter is clearly so well behaved, yet I still have to send her to her disabled grandmother's house. I'm truly not human." At that moment, the sound of the door opening echoed. It was already dark outside, and my husband had come home. Seeing him, I felt a surge of excitement and wanted to rush forward and hold him tightly, but the look in his eyes was filled with disappointment. In my previous life, my business had run into some problems around this time, and, encouraged by Lu Yuan, she has already started an ambiguous relationship with Fang Jun, often not coming home. My husband sighed at me. "Don't send Yao Yao away, I'll go find a job. From now on, I'll work to support this family." Previously, after I started an internet company and made some small money, I began to get carried away. My husband was originally an AI technical professional with great prospects. I claimed to want to become a strong, independent woman, forcing my husband to give up his career and resign to take care of the children at home, all under the pressure from Lu Yuan and me. I was truly selfish. Now, with the company in a difficult situation, I have to send my daughter away. Seeing my husband hesitate to speak, I knew he was preparing to go out and work to support the family, but that won't do. He should still be a technician. I quickly interrupted him. "No need. I already know why the company is having problems. I can support this family." At this point, I was filled with anger. It was all Lu Yuan and Fang Jun causing trouble, not only trying to undermine my company but also ruining my family. In this life, I will not let either of them off. Hearing me say this, My husband was half convinced and half doubtful, his face full of vigilance. I sighed inwardly, understanding that he didn't trust me, thinking I was up to something again. Thump, thump, thump. I was about to continue explaining when a knock came from the door, followed by a woman's voice calling out, "Chi-Chi, I'm here." Hearing this voice, my expression instantly darkened. It was Lu Yuan. I went over and opened the door. When enemies meet, their eyes blaze with hatred, suppressing the urge to hit her. I welcomed Lu Yuan inside. Beating her up wouldn't be enough. I wanted her and that scumbag to suffer even more than I did in my past life. Today was supposed to be the day she and I had agreed to pressure my husband into getting a divorce. As soon as she entered, Lu Yuan shot my husband, Qing Wenhao, a disdainful look. Then, she started speaking sarcastically. "Wenhao, you're home too. Just look at your pathetic self. Chi-Chi is now a successful businesswoman. And you don't even bother to tidy yourself up. How embarrassing for her." As she spoke, she casually sat down on the sofa and ordered Qing Wenhao to pour her some tea. My husband didn't want to pay her any attention, but in the end, after pouring tea for us, he went aside to feed our daughter the dumplings he had brought back. My husband seemed to realize something as well, and with a good temper, he let Lu Yuan eat first, saying we could talk later. In the past, Lu Yuan always tried to fool me, saying my husband was boring and useless. Yes, my husband is now a house husband, but he was a technical expert before, giving up his career and silently supporting me all along. Yet I turned a blind eye, watching my husband tenderly caring for our daughter. I was deeply moved. A man like this is hard to find even with a lantern. How could I have been so foolish in my past life? Lu Yuan, this enemy spy, is also lacking in virtue. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. I texted my brother, "Lu Yuan is trying to convince me to divorce my husband. Come over and give her a beating." Looking at Lu Yuan again, she shamelessly went ahead to eat the dumplings. The portion my husband brought back was meant for our family of 3. If she eats it, what will my husband have? My husband can't endure any more hardship. I took Lu Yuan's hand and led her into the bedroom to see my newly purchased bag. Sure enough, she seemed quite interested. I felt like slapping myself. My career was in shambles, I was neglecting my daughter, and yet I was still buying bags. Lu Yuan even acted as if she had my best interests at heart, reminding me, "Let me tell you, if you're going to get a divorce, don't take the child. It's just a burden." Telling someone to abandon their own daughter. Lu Yuan is truly wicked to the core. It's simply inhuman. I could hardly hold back any longer when a commotion erupted at the door. My brother rushed in frantically and barged into the bedroom. Seeing Lu Yuan, she pointed at her nose and started cursing. "You bitch, it's always you who tricks my sister into getting a divorce. Get out of here." Without wasting any words, she rushed forward, grabbed Lu Yuan by the hair, and slapped her twice. Slap. Slap. Then, dragging Lu Yuan, she kicked her toward the door. "Ah, Chi-Chi, save me." Lu Yuan cried out in pain while calling for my help. I pretended to be anxious, slipped, and fell to the ground. By the time I got up and reached the living room, my brother had already kicked Lu Yuan to the door. My husband was trying to mediate the fight, but he only stopped his brother from hitting Lu Yuan on the head, probably to avoid causing serious trouble. He himself pretended to lose his balance and took the opportunity to step on Lu Yuan's ankle, making her cry out in pain. I almost laughed out loud, never expecting my husband to have such a clever, cunning side to him. After the initial passion faded, it seems I never really got to know him that well. Believing Lu Yuan's slander, she thought her husband was dull. Seeing that it was about time, I quickly went over to pull them apart. "Lianzi, you stop right there." I pretended to be angry and scolded my brother a couple of times, then hurriedly pulled Lu Yuan out the door. Downstairs, I saw Lu Yuan with a swollen face, several finger marks on both cheeks. Her body was covered in footprints. She was clutching her waist and limping on one leg. I couldn't have felt more relieved. "Chi-Chi, your brother has gone too far." Afraid she might call the police to arrest my brother, I joined in scolding him. "That little brat is in cahoots with Qing Wenhao. I don't have much money left now, so I need to figure out how to make Qing Wenhao leave with nothing. Let's not bring up the divorce for now. We can't act rashly." Hearing me say that, Lu Yuan had no choice but to accept it. Seeing her at a loss wasn't the end of it. "Lu Yuan, you just wait. This is only the beginning." After successfully sending Lu Yuan away, I went home in a good mood. My younger brother was holding Yao Yao and sitting on the sofa with my husband. Seeing me return, he stood up and said to Qing Wenhao, "Brother-in-law, I'll take Yao Yao back first and let her play at my place for a while." I was quite touched. Yao Yao's uncle has always been very responsible. However, in my previous life, my younger brother died in a car accident shortly after my divorce. Otherwise, Yao Yao wouldn't have been so pitiful later on. This time, I must prevent the car accident from happening. I really need to deal with these messy matters on my end. I feel reassured with Yao Yao staying with her uncle, so I didn't stop her. My husband thought for a moment and nodded as well. He affectionately stroked Yao Yao's little face. Go play with your uncle for a few days. Daddy will come pick you up soon. Yao Yao obediently nodded and reluctantly said goodbye to her father and me. My brother didn't even want to look at me and left, holding Yao Yao. All that remained in my heart was bitterness. Even my own younger brother looked down on me. I had truly been a failure in my past life. Soon, only my husband and I were left at home. I felt deeply indebted to this man who loved me to the core. Fortunately, I knew he loved me, and I could make it up to him with sincerity in the future. I took a deep breath and sat down on the sofa. Shall we talk? My husband gave a bitter smile and said, what's meant to come will come. Seeing his sorrowful expression, I knew he had misunderstood, but now, without any proof, I didn't know how to express my love to him. I hugged him tightly, feeling his heartbeat quicken and his breathing grow rapid. My husband has always liked me a lot and has been very brave in his actions, but lately, I've been neglecting him, and we haven't been intimate for 2 months. He's 29 years old, in the prime of his life, and he must be feeling really pent up. This won't do. What if my husband gets too frustrated? I whispered breathlessly in his ear, honey, you've been holding back lately. With our daughter away, today I'll let you release to your heart's content. I got up and took the initiative. I saw blazing fire in my husband's eyes as he looked at me, the sofa, the balcony, the bedroom. Finally, I was exhausted, but I didn't want to leave my husband's embrace. He gave a bitter smile. Is this the last time? I must have made a fool of myself. I could feel his deep affection for me. I apologized to him with guilt. I'm sorry, dear, I neglected you and Yao Yao before. I know I was wrong. I saw a tear trickle from the corner of my husband's eye, which he quickly wiped away with his hand. He didn't answer, and I understood. He was both hopeful and skeptical of me. From now on, I will prove through my actions that I will be good to him and our daughter. By the way, don't go to work anymore. You're so talented. You should continue with your technical pursuits. I support you. My husband was taken aback, a bit surprised, and then shook his head helplessly. The most important thing right now is to support the family. Just tell me what's on your mind. I can handle it. Seeing that my husband kept thinking I was about to divorce him, I told him the truth. I found out that the company's issues are related to Lu Yuan. If we deal with her, the problems will naturally be resolved. Besides, we still have savings. My husband sat up, looking at me with some pleasant surprise, clearly not expecting me to take action against Lu Yuan. I thought about it and decided to be honest with him. Recently, under Lu Yuan's encouragement, I've indeed been involved in some ambiguous relationships with other men. My husband nodded silently. I could sense it. Seeing my husband's sad expression, I quickly explained to him, but rest assured, my body is clean. I realize how absurd I've been, and I'll never do it again. I'm also very grateful that I haven't done anything to betray my husband yet, and I can still return to his side. My husband was a bit surprised, but there was still a lot of doubt in his eyes, and he gave a non-committal in response to me. Let's eat the dumplings. You must be tired. My husband changed the subject. I understand that it's hard for him to trust me now, but that's okay. I'll prove myself to him. Having lived this life over, I've come to realize that the only person I truly have feelings for and can trust is my husband. Early the next morning, I urged my husband to go back to his former company for a re-interview, hoping he would continue his career and pursue his dreams. Unable to resist my insistence, he reluctantly agreed. Afterward, I also went to the company. As soon as I entered the office, I saw a man sitting inside. It's Feng Jun, with his foil-permed hair, raised an eyebrow at me. Baby, you're here. Did you miss me? He walked toward me with a mischievous grin on his face. I admit he is indeed decent looking. But one's appearance reflects their inner self, and every move he makes is ill-intentioned. Moreover, he even packaged himself as a minor rich second generation. It was only later that I found out he was actually an unemployed drifter, a complete fraud. My husband is a tech expert, has a great temper, is family-oriented, and treats me and the kids wonderfully. His looks and figure are not bad at all, 100 times better than the scumbag. In my past life, I was truly blind. I used to be infatuated with Feng Jun, but now I only feel disgust. Now at the company, it's not appropriate to have my brother come and cause a scene again. Just as Feng Jun's hand reached my waist, I accidentally lost my footing, bumped into him, and then my whole body crashed into him. Ah! Feng Jun let out a sharp cry. Clutching his crotch as he fell to the ground, his face flushed red, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead, an unexpected delight, but I still pretended to be innocent and apologized. Sorry, I lost my balance. Are you okay? He took a long time to calm down, then stood up angrily, but he could only hold it in. I felt quite satisfied. In my heart, I cursed him countless times, only to see him reaching for me again. To keep him steady, I pretended to flirt with him. What's the rush? I'm on my period. I'll give myself to you in a few days. Sure enough, upon hearing this, he forgot his anger and became very expectant. Laugh. I sneered inwardly. Feng Jun, you and Lu Yuan won't get away. I will make you repay my suffering twice, tenfold over. It's time to start the counterattack, you despicable couple. Go to hell. After fobbing off Feng Jun, I hired a lawyer and a private investigator to start investigating Feng Jun and Lu Yuan. In my mind, I already have a plan to deal with them. That afternoon, Wang Chong, the head of the private detective team, sent me a recording. In the recording, it was exactly what Lu Yuan said privately to Feng Jun. Delays breed trouble. Next time I find an opportunity to get her drunk, you should just force yourself on her, so she won't keep wavering. I was chilled to the bone. Lu Yuan, I considered you my best friend. Yet you repeatedly tried to harm me. You even wanted that scumbag to humiliate me. It seems hiring this detective was the right decision after all. Then I'll start with you first. Lu Yuan is the supervisor at my company. After work, she indeed came to the office to invite me out for a drink. On the surface, I tried to act as if nothing was wrong, but deep down, I wished I could slap her mouth crooked. She even put on a concerned and earnest expression, advising me, if you ask me, if there's no love, it's better to get divorced sooner rather than later. How many years of youth does a woman have, right? You should enjoy life while you can. Trying to trick me into abandoning my husband and daughter again. I suppressed my anger and nodded as if in agreement with her. That makes sense. I'll check the company accounts first, then we can get a divorce. Upon hearing that I wanted to check the accounts, the smile on Lu Yuan's face instantly vanished. After all, she and that bastard Feng Jun had taken advantage of my trust to place their own people in charge of the finances. They had registered shell companies and siphoned off a significant amount of funds from my company, just waiting for me to divorce and marry Feng Jun, completely sidelining my company. Now I want to audit the accounts, and I'm likely to find something suspicious. As expected, Lu Yuan hurriedly stopped me. Your company isn't doing well right now. Why bother auditing the accounts? It's just adding to your own troubles. Isn't your new boyfriend's family quite wealthy? You should focus on getting divorced first, so he can help you with money. Help me. Can my company be of help to you? I inwardly scoffed, but on the surface, I remained calm. Precisely because of that, we need to check the premarital assets to completely sever ties with Qing Wenhao. Lu Yuan was extremely anxious and tried to persuade me a few more times, saying things like it would be a waste of time, or the losses would be too great, and my new boyfriend might have objections. I just smiled and told her not to worry, seeing that further persuasion would risk exposing the truth. She had no choice but to keep quiet. She scratched her head and fidgeted restlessly. Finally, she said to me, "All right then, I just remembered there's something I need to take care of at home." Without even mentioning the drink, she hurriedly left, scared. That's right. I want to make sure you can't sleep at night, soon. I received a message from Detective Wang. Lu Yuan is selling off her assets. I curled the corner of my mouth. Good, bitch, I'll give you time. Go ahead and bankrupt yourself to fill the hole in my company, then I'll deal with you, step by step. I'll lead you into the abyss I once fell into. I also miss Yao Yao. My younger brother isn't married yet and lives with our parents, so I plan to visit them. I bought a dress, shoes, and snacks for Yao Yao, and clothes and nutritional supplements for my parents. But as soon as I sent the things in, my father frowned and urged me, "All right, if there's nothing else, you should hurry back. Yao Yao will stay with us." My mother also held Yao Yao, looking at me coldly. They know all too well what kind of person their daughter is. Even my own parents shut me out. How could I have been an independent, strong woman in my past life? Looking at Yao Yao again, she really wants to get close to me, but she also seems afraid, as a daughter and a mother. I have failed miserably. In my previous life, my parents were so upset with me that their health deteriorated, and with the added blow of my brother's death, they both fell ill. This time, I must be filial to my parents and not let them worry about me anymore. Seeing the disappointed look in my parents' eyes, I felt terrible inside. All right then, Dad, Mom, remember to wear the clothes with Yao Yao. I turned to Yao Yao again. Be good, sweetheart, next time. Dad and I will come pick you up together. Mom, pinky promise. Mom and Dad will pick up Yao Yao together. Yao Yao's eyes lit up as she extended her little hand to me. Pinky promise, sealed with a stamp. My daughter is so adorable and sensible, yet I feel I've done something wrong and owe her too much. My parents' attitude towards me has softened a bit. My mother earnestly advised me to live a good life with Qing Wenhao. I agreed to everything. And my parents even gave me some roast chicken and dumplings to take back. No matter when, parents are the ones who are most sincere and genuine towards you. Thinking back to the past, making them worry and get upset for me was truly unfilial. Upon returning home, I started cooking. In the evening, my husband came back from work, returning to the job he loves. He was clearly very happy when he saw the meal on the table. He froze, clearly not expecting that I could personally cook. I teased him. What? Afraid I might poison you. After that, I helped him hang up his suit jacket and served him a bowl of chicken soup. My husband was somewhat overwhelmed by the unexpected kindness. In this life, I will not only conquer his stomach, I will also give him enough physical and emotional satisfaction so that he will love me forever and know that I love him too. Without reservation, I asked him softly, "Honey, do I look good in this? I put special effort into my outfit and appearance today." Finally, under my affectionate gaze, my husband couldn't take it anymore. He picked me up directly and headed towards our love nest. "Husband, I love you." Then I asked him another question in his ear. "Honey." My husband suddenly froze for a moment, then quickly understood. It felt like we had rediscovered the feeling of our youth. I also want him to know that we belong only to each other. After holding me and giving me a bath, we had a warm dinner together. Finally, my husband let me rest and went to clean up the dishes alone. I couldn't help but marvel once again, where on earth can you find such a wonderful husband? In my past life, I must have been out of my mind. Just then, a message came through on my phone from the detective. Lu Yuan sold her car and house, used up all her savings, and even took out a loan to cover the hole in your company. Good, Lu Yuan has started selling off her assets. It's time to take the next step. The next day, I sat in the boss's chair in the office. Lawyer Lin Junwei sat on the sofa nearby, looking serious. "Susie, you are involved in embezzlement and falsifying accounts, with a total amount exceeding 1 million, which is a huge sum. This could result in a sentence of more than 10 years in prison, or even life imprisonment." In the middle of the office was Susie, the accountant. Knowing she had committed a crime, she suddenly knelt down before me. "General Manager, I was wrong. It was all Lu Yuan's idea. We are currently returning the money. Please, I beg you to let me go." Susie is a college classmate of Lu Yuan and was introduced to my company by the latter. It turns out it was premeditated all along. I was also quite angry and sternly warned her. "I trusted you both so much, yet you betrayed me. From now on, you must listen to me. If you dare to have any other thoughts, I will see you until you are bankrupt and spend the rest of your life in prison." Susie nodded repeatedly, not daring to show the slightest defiance, and was completely under my control. I also began to check the accounts, taking personal control of the ledger. However, all of this was done in secret, and Lu Yuan had no idea. She also took leave, claiming she wasn't feeling well. I knew she was going to gather money, so I naturally agreed without hesitation. Next, it was time to deal with Feng Jun. I left work early and sent him a WeChat message. "Honey, my period is over, completely." Not long after, Feng Jun dressed up and found me at the tavern. After we had a few drinks together, he eagerly pulled me to the hotel. I pretended to be drunk and fell down, enduring the disgust, feigning to let him have his way. "Baby, you're so beautiful, and your figure is amazing," he kept praising. Unaware of what awaited him, just as he was about to take another step, I was startled and began to stop him, but he was already too carried away, forcefully pressing my hand down. "Don't." Bang. As soon as I finished shouting, the door was kicked open. My brother rushed in with 2 friends, full of fury. "Damn it, you dared to touch my sister." My brother flew into a rage and kicked Feng Jun over. I also breathed a sigh of relief. Just in time, Feng Jun panicked and quickly explained, "Yu Liang, don't misunderstand, your sister was willing." I quickly huddled under the blanket, pointing at Feng Jun, looking like a victim. "Feng Jun, I'm a married man, and you're actually forcing me to drink and coercing me." Feng Jun was taken aback, looking at me in shock. Before he could react, my brother, hearing this, became even angrier and kicked Feng Jun in the face. "You bastard, you're looking for death." Feng Jun was kicked so hard that blood gushed from his nose, and the 2 friends my brother brought along also started hitting him. In no time, Feng Jun was on the ground, covering his head and begging for mercy, getting a severe beating. That's right, my brother was the one I called. "Feng Jun, you thought you could deceive me for money and lust, leaving me with nothing. You even tried to break up my family. You deserve it." Bang. Finally, my brother kicked Feng Jun. Feng Jun clutched his stomach, groaning in pain and rolling on the ground, his face turning purple. At that moment, the police I had called earlier arrived. Feng Jun, as if seeing a glimmer of hope, quickly hunched over and ran toward them. "Officer, they hit me." Seeing the police rushing towards my brother, I quickly pointed at Feng Jun. "Officer, he forced me to drink and tried to assault me." The 2 police officers, seeing my disheveled clothes, immediately apprehended Feng Jun. Upon hearing this, Feng Jun realized he had been set up. His lips twitching in frustration, he glared at me angrily, veins bulging on his forehead, unable to utter a word. I also vented my anger thoroughly. Feng Jun was directly detained, and after we finished giving our statements, I also bailed out my brother and his friend. Without any unnecessary talk, I directly transferred 30,000 to my brother, 10,000 each, to express my gratitude. What on earth? is going on?" My brother was completely bewildered, however, after these two incidents. His dislike for me isn't as strong as before. I gave him a mysterious smile. "You'll find out when the time comes. They're trying to trick me, so just wait and watch the fun." My brother suddenly understood and immediately patted his chest, saying, "So you're not really getting a divorce from my brother-in-law. If you have any issues, feel free to come to me again." Feeling a bit guilty, I grinned at him. I was truly confused in my past life, thinking about my wonderful brother, who died in a car accident in my past life, makes my heart ache and feel very uncomfortable. In this lifetime, I will naturally keep them all by my side. After successfully sending Feng Jun away, I was in high spirits and prepared a lavish meal. When my husband came home from work, he was once again taken by surprise. After dinner, while he was washing the dishes, I hugged him from behind. I gently comforted him. "I know it's hard for you to trust me again right now, but there's still a long way to go, and we will love each other for a long time." My husband nodded heavily. After tidying up, I suggested going to see the child. We bought a lot of fruit and also got Yao Yao a new backpack, returned to my parents, and also brought a lot of food and daily necessities. Seeing these things, my mother complained to me, "Earning money isn't easy, and we don't lack anything at home." My father also chimed in. "Exactly. Have you eaten yet? Come in and rest, Lianzi. Go move the things." I felt a surge of emotions. Parental love is always pure. In my past life, I truly wasn't filial enough. My brother and I exchanged a smile, finally resolving the knot in our hearts. Yao Yao was overjoyed to see me and her dad arriving together, rushing over to hug us both, while my husband was playing with our daughter. I also said to my parents, "Dad, Mom, I'd like to take Yao Yao back with us so she won't disturb your rest, and it'll be more convenient for her to go to school." The parents exchanged a glance and nodded. My mother quickly reminded Qingwenhao, son-in-law, "Keep a close eye on the child." My father felt the same way, repeatedly telling me to send Yao Yao back anytime if things didn't work out. I was on the verge of tears. In the past, I really was unreliable. My reputation had truly hit rock bottom. Yao Yao was very happy, dancing with joy. After sitting at my parents' house for a while, my husband and I took Yao Yao and left. Just as my husband was about to drive home, I smiled at him and said, "Didn't you notice I bought 2 things? Should we go see your mom too?" Hearing this, my husband froze for a moment, stammering a bit. I understand what he's worried about. In the past, I never really respected his disabled mother. His mother is also very considerate. Living alone in the neighboring county, I looked at him and explained, "It's not easy for Mom to live alone. We should visit her more often in the future, and I'm sure she misses Yao Yao too." Seeing my serious expression, my husband's eyes immediately welled up with tears. Since it was still early, at my urging, my husband turned the car toward his mother's house. On the way, seeing the hopeful expression on my husband's face, I felt guilty again. I was such an inadequate wife and daughter-in-law, woo-woo. At that moment, I noticed that Yao Yao was quietly crying. Seeing the tears streaming down her little face, my heart ached for her. I held her in my arms and gently asked, "What's wrong, Yao Yao?" Pouting her little mouth, Yao Yao pleaded pitifully, "Yao Yao wants to be with Mommy and Daddy." It turned out she was worried I was going to abandon her. I took out a tissue to wipe her tears and assured her, "Of course, Yao Yao will be with Mom and Dad. We're just going to visit Grandma. Grandma is good to Yao Yao. Yao Yao likes going." Only then did Yao Yao stop crying and throw herself into my arms, saying, "Yao Yao wants to be with Mom and Dad forever." Of course, my eyes welled up with tears. The child's request was simple, yet I had been so selfish before. I saw my husband and quietly wiped away my own tears. From now on, our family of 3 will never be apart again. When we arrived at my mother-in-law's house, she was just about to sleep. Seeing us arrive, she was pleasantly surprised and quickly poured water for us, offering peanuts and melon seeds. Watching my mother-in-law, who was missing a leg, bustling about, I felt quite uneasy and stood up to help her. Upon seeing me, my mother-in-law seemed a bit uneasy, knowing that I had always looked down on her. Thinking back, I also felt rather embarrassed. As we sat together on the sofa, I suggested, "Mother-in-law, you're getting older, why don't you come live with us?" Upon hearing this, both my mother-in-law and my husband were quite surprised. My mother-in-law shook her head repeatedly, saying, "No, it wouldn't be convenient for me to go." I knew she was afraid I would look down on her, so I took out the 20,000 yuan I had prepared earlier from my bag. "Mother-in-law, Yao Yao is already so grown up. I should be filial to you." When I was in confinement, my own mother was also hospitalized, and it was my mother-in-law who took care of me. And for Yao Yao, whenever my husband and I had things to do, she often helped take care of her. I feel very indebted to my mother-in-law. Mother-in-law lowered her head and wiped away her tears, and I felt quite uneasy inside. Mother-in-law wiped her tears and smiled at us, saying, "I'm used to living alone, and it might be inconvenient for you. When I can no longer take care of myself, I won't hesitate to ask for your help." Wenhao gives me money every month, but I don't want it." As she spoke, she pushed the money back. I could sense that my mother-in-law was sincere, and my own sense of restraint gradually faded away. "It's getting late, and I insisted on leaving the money behind, so it's time for us to go." Seeing the reluctance in my mother-in-law's eyes, I felt a pang of bitterness in my heart and assured her, "Mom, we'll come visit you often." Yao Yao also nodded eagerly like a little chick pecking at rice, saying, "We'll visit Grandma often." We all smiled. After we got home and put the child to sleep, my husband took the initiative to hug me. "Chi-Chi, thank you." It's not easy for him, a science and engineering guy, to take the initiative in expressing emotions. I smiled at him. It's all what I should do. This is also what I truly think. At this moment, our feelings grew even stronger. The next day, Lu Yuan finally came to work, her left ankle in a cast. As soon as we met, she started complaining to me about her financial struggles. "Chi-Chi, something happened at home. Could you lend me a few $100,000? I sneered inwardly, thinking, so the money can't cover it anymore. I pretended to be hesitant. "Well, I could. I was originally planning to invest all the family savings into the company's new project, but I'll let you use it first." Just as I expected, upon hearing this, Lu Yuan started calculating. If she borrowed my money, she would definitely have to pay it back, but if it went into the company, it would all be hers in the end. Sure enough, she stopped me. "The company is important. I'll think about it some more." After that, she didn't mention borrowing money again and left. Meanwhile, I sent a message to Detective Wang, find a way to introduce her to a loan. My money must be paid back to me. "Lu Yuan, don't you know what it means to be insatiable like a snake trying to swallow an elephant? Just wait until you're drowning in debt." Not long after, I also received a call from my younger brother. "Sis, I've been summoned by the police. That guy got seriously injured after I kicked him, but I don't regret it. Find an excuse and don't tell Mom and Dad." While feeling moved in my heart, I confidently told him, "Don't worry, Sis has long been prepared. That trash can't do anything to you. Just watch me handle it." When I arrived, I learned that Feng Jun had been kicked so hard that he lost his male function. When I saw Feng Jun at the hospital, his face was pale, and seeing his ferocious expression brought me immense satisfaction. In my past life, I gave him my heart and soul. Instead, he and Lu Yuan called me a bitch, leaving me with nothing. It's true that I brought this upon myself, but that scumbag won't get off easy either. Now, he's no longer a man. Nothing could make me happier than this news. Feng Jun gritted his teeth and cursed at me. "How dare you come here? Your brother ruined me. I'm going to sue him for intentional injury and make him rot in prison." Seeing him so broken, I secretly laughed to myself, but to keep my brother out of trouble, I had to pretend and started wiping away tears with a pained expression. "Feng Jun, I have no choice. My husband and brother found out about us, and he even wants me to sue you for assault." Feng Jun was instantly flustered upon hearing this. He quickly started sweet-talking me, saying, "You can't do that. If I go in, our relationship will be exposed too, and you won't be any better off. Your brother will end up in jail as well." I sneered inwardly. What a shameless scumbag, still trying to scare and threaten me. Huh. I also looked flustered. What should we do then? If I don't sue you, I can't explain it either. Not only will I have to divorce my husband, but my brother will also cut ties with me. We both fell silent. Finally, Feng Jun could only grit his teeth and say, "If it really comes down to it, I won't sue your brother, and you can say you're not suing me. It's a trade between the two of us." Perfect. That's exactly what I was waiting for him to say. I nodded. That's the only way. After all, he didn't have a substantial relationship with me, so he wouldn't be sentenced for long. It's impossible to take him down all at once. My brother's situation is a variable, but I must help him no matter what, and I'm certain Feng Jun wouldn't dare to turn against me. After all, he's facing prison time and the loss of my company. I don't even need to use my trump card. He'll have to come begging for peace on his own. Seeing him so frustrated brings me immense satisfaction. That scumbag Feng Jun can only swallow his anger and keep quiet. We both signed a letter of understanding. After I got my brother out, he was filled with righteous indignation. Outside, he stood tall and said, "Sis, don't be afraid of him. If he dares to lay a finger on you, I'm ready to go back in." My heart warmed as I gave my brother a push. "Don't try to act tough. If you go in, Mom and Dad will be so worried." I curled the corner of my mouth. "Don't worry, I have my own way. That guy is done for. Feng Jun, just you wait. Our grudge isn't over yet." When I got home, I checked and found that we still had over 800,000 yuan at home. It was precisely this money that made me swell with pride in my previous life. I knew that my husband was leading a small team and was in desperate need of funds. I withdrew some more from my parents, as well as from the company's accounts, and managed to gather 1 million yuan. Before going to bed at night, I gave the card to my husband. "I know your project is short on funds. Consider this 1 million as my investment. It might not be a lot for you, but it's my way of supporting you." Holding the bank card, my husband looked utterly incredulous. Deeply moved, he sighed and said, "Our project isn't that big to begin with. To be honest, this money of yours is exactly what we need to tide us over until we secure funding." He looked at me with a complex expression, his eyes filled with affection. "Darling, it feels like a dream lately, and I really don't want to wake up from it." I could understand how he felt. And I felt the same way. I smiled and hugged him. "Then let's not wake up." My hand reached toward his warm chest, my own heart pounding with excitement as I lowered my voice and whispered to him, "Honey, our daughter is asleep. If you're worried, I can give you another child." My husband's eyes once again blazed with intense fire. The next morning, I woke up feeling refreshed and energetic. Indeed, love is the best nourishment for a woman. When I arrived at the company, Susie from the finance department sent me a WeChat message. "Liu Yuan has made up all the payments." I raised an eyebrow. "That means Liu Yuan's time is up." Together with Feng Jun, I thought for a moment and replied to Su Qian on WeChat, "Tell Liu Yuan tomorrow that I found no issues during the audit and have her speed up taking over my company. Since it's all gathered, she has the money to compensate me. As long as she continues to sideline me, it will be the time for me to call the police to arrest her." In the afternoon, my husband was working overtime, and I went to pick up my daughter for the first time in a while. Seeing me come to pick her up, Yao Yao was bouncing with joy, looking very happy. At that moment, a little boy deliberately bumped into Yao Yao. Yao Yao pouted in grievance and glanced at me, as if afraid of worrying me. She pursed her lips and said nothing. But I heard the sound of the impact on her back and saw Yao Yao grimace. She must have been in a lot of pain. My heart ached, and a surge of anger instantly flared up. Upon a closer look, wasn't that little boy the one who had thrown stones at Yao Yao in the previous life? I grew even more furious. Indeed, a child with no upbringing is always this wicked. I crouched down and asked Yao Yao seriously, "Does he often bully you?" "Hit him back." Yao Yao timidly did not answer. I took a deep breath and comforted her earnestly. "Don't be afraid, Yao Yao, Mom has your back. No one can bully you." Yao Yao's little eyes grew moist as she nodded. "Yes, he often bullies me and even hits me." I was filled with rage. Holding Yao Yao's hand as I walked toward the little boy, Yao Yao gave a strong push, and the little boy flew straight into the ditch. After being pulled out by his parents, the little boy's nose was broken, with a mix of nosebleed, muddy water, snot, and tears. He burst into loud sobs. The little boy's mother, a middle-aged woman with big, wavy hair, immediately started shouting. She shoved Yao Yao and cursed. "Where did this little brat come from, pushing my son?" I shielded Yao Yao behind me and pushed the woman with big waves aside as well. "Who are you cursing? It's your son who always bullies my daughter, a thing with a mother but no upbringing. If you don't believe me, ask him." "Who are you talking about? Say that again." The woman with big waves immediately got angry and came over to scratch me. I didn't back down either, rolling up my sleeves ready to confront her. "You think you can bully my daughter and still have the nerve to argue? No one gets to bully my daughter. If you want to fight, then let's fight. If you or your son get hurt today, I'll pay for it." Having died once, I now have no fear. Some other parents whose children had also been bullied chimed in from the sidelines. "Yeah. Your kid has hit my son too. You two, mother and son, shouldn't bully others like this. It sounds like you were in the wrong first." At that moment, my husband arrived and shielded both me and Yao Yao behind him. My imposing presence, the arrival of the man from my family, and the accusations from the surrounding crowd. The woman with the big waves panicked, pulled out her phone, and immediately called the police. It didn't matter. Once we got to the police station, I simply paid the compensation. After all, it was the child who had done the hitting. Before leaving, I pointed at the little boy and the woman with the big waves and warned them, "If you dare bully my daughter again, I'll beat you up every time I see you." After leaving the police station, my daughter hugged me happily and said, "Mom, you're so great." Usually, they scold me for not having a mother to take care of me. I felt both heartbroken and guilty, swearing to protect my daughter from now on. Yao Yao also accepted and relied on me again, and I finally felt at ease. The next morning, my counterattack against Liu Yuan and Feng Jun also began in full force. I brought in some local journalists and influencers. I released all the audio recordings and evidence gathered by the private investigator, showing how the two of them colluded to deceive me into abandoning my husband and daughter, and to undermine my company. For a while, it caused quite a stir locally. I even heard people outside my office window cursing the two of them. These two people are truly lacking in virtue. They must be exposed. They have no shame. How can there be such shameless people in our place? Soon, Liu Yuan, dragging her injured ankle, stormed into my office. She broke down and questioned me. "You Chi-Chi, you're just too cruel, aren't you? My colleagues are all cursing me, and even my parents want to cut ties with me. Seeing her disheveled appearance, I couldn't help but feel a great sense of satisfaction. At that moment, Fang Jun's call also came through. Answering the phone, he also cursed at me. "You wicked woman, you've been playing us all along. You'll come to a bad end." I sneered coldly. "I want you to be publicly shamed, and it seems you haven't realized your situation yet." On the other end of the phone came the stern voice of the police. "Fang Jun, you are suspected of illegally occupying others' property and fraud. Come with us." From the other end of the line, Fang Jun panicked and hurriedly apologized to me. "Chi-Chi, I was wrong. Please don't let the police arrest me. If I go to jail, I'm finished. I beg you." I hung up the phone directly. Looking again, Liu Yuan's face was also deathly pale. Soon, 2 police officers also entered the office to arrest her. Liu Yuan was completely terrified and knelt down before me with a thud. She pleaded repeatedly, "Sister Chi-Chi, please spare me. I'll serve you like a slave from now on." Watching her cry and beg me on her knees, I felt no emotion inside. "You have indeed wronged me, and even more so, my husband and daughter. This is all because you and Fang Jun had ill intentions, and you deserve what you got." I watched Liu Yuan, utterly devastated, being taken away by the police for investigation. Thinking about that scumbag Fang Jun again. With his male functions ruined and still heading to prison, I finally feel like I've gotten my revenge. Next, lawyer Lin took the evidence I had collected long ago and directly filed a lawsuit against them. 3 more days passed, and it was also the day my brother had the accident. Early in the morning, I called him and told him not to go anywhere today, to stay at home. Little did I know, he said nonchalantly, "What's up, sis? It's my buddy's birthday today, and I forgot to charge my phone. We can talk about it when I get back." Then, he hung up the phone. When I tried calling him again, his phone was already turned off. My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly grabbed the car keys, wanting to stop him. But at that moment, the office door was suddenly slammed open. I saw Liu Yuan staring at me with a murderous look in her eyes. Before I could react, she pulled a dagger from her waist and lunged at me, limping as she moved. I secretly thought, this is bad. This didn't happen in my previous life, and I was caught off guard. Looking at Liu Yuan again, her eyes were bloodshot, clearly pushed to the brink. I wanted to dodge, but it was already too late. I watched as the dagger plunged straight toward my heart. At that moment, a pair of large hands grabbed Liu Yuan's wrist. Seeing who it was, my heart leaped with joy. "Husband." I saw my husband, accompanied by 2 others, pinning Liu Yuan to the ground and taking the dagger from her. My husband looked at me with concern. "Are you okay?" Feeling a bit shaken, I threw myself into my husband's arms. "I'm fine, dear." Hearing that I was okay, my husband let out a heavy sigh of relief. "That's good. I was worried they might have ill intentions toward you, so I had someone keeping an eye on you all along. I happened to be off work today, and I didn't expect you to actually run into trouble." I really didn't expect Liu Yuan to be driven to desperate measures. After surviving the ordeal, my husband is truly a source of immense security. We looked at each other, our eyes filled with deep affection, and in that moment, all grudges were completely set aside. My husband glared angrily at Liu Yuan and said to his 2 companions, "Call the police. She tried to harm my wife. She's finished." At that moment, I suddenly remembered my brother's situation and rushed out in a hurry. My husband, worried about me, followed along. The place where my brother had the accident, I would never forget even in death. I hurriedly drove toward the scene of the incident. Finally, I arrived at the intersection and saw the Volkswagen my brother was driving. In the city, it's not supposed to happen that a major car accident occurs, yet a large truck, out of control and blaring its horn, was charging straight toward him. My younger brother hadn't noticed yet, and seeing that it was almost too late, tears welled up in my eyes. Could it be that I really couldn't prevent my brother's death? I gritted my teeth and decided to just go for it. While my husband was still fastening his seatbelt, I pushed him out of the car, stepped on the gas, and drove straight through. All I heard was a loud, earth-shattering bang. My car instantly lost control and crashed into the guardrail on the side, and my brother's car was also knocked off course by the impact. The truck roared past right in front of us and crashed into the ditch. We finally managed to dodge this disaster. At that moment, the airbag deployed, and I blacked out instantly. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital. My husband and parents were by the bedside, and when they saw me wake up, my brother, holding Yayo, hurriedly came closer. My brother, his face full of excitement, said, "Sis, it's so good that you're okay. Thanks to you for saving me. Otherwise I might have been in serious trouble." Seeing my brother full of life and energy, I smiled. I successfully prevented this tragedy. In the evening, after Yao was taken back by my parents and younger brother, and my husband was left alone to take care of me, he asked me with a serious expression, "How did you know something was going to happen to my brother? And lately, it's like you've become a different person. Can you tell me the truth?" I was taken aback, realizing that my husband had noticed something was off. I didn't want to lie to him, so I let out a long sigh and said, "You might find this hard to believe, but I've actually been reborn. In my past life, I wronged you and Yao Yao, and now I know I was wrong." I started sobbing, thinking of the despicable things I had done in my past life, feeling immensely guilty. My husband smiled and said, "Actually, I've also been reborn. I've seen all the changes in you, and I want to tell you that I love you very much." I was somewhat taken aback, but upon reflection, it seemed that from the very beginning, my husband had already been prepared for a divorce. Thinking back, since my rebirth, my husband had indeed been protecting me and Yao Yao all along. It turns out that he had also experienced the pain of his past life. I looked into his affectionate eyes and sincerely confessed, "I love you too. For a lifetime, forever." After opening up to my husband, we also reported the two despicable human traffickers who had abducted Yao Yao in our past life to the police. The police rescued 4 children, and those 2 scoundrels will face severe punishment under the law. 3 months later, Liu Yuan and Fang Jun were formally put on trial. Liu Yuan was sentenced to life imprisonment for attempted murder, embezzlement, fraud, and other charges. Fang Jun was also sentenced to 20 years and, moreover, permanently lost his dignity as a man. All of this was exactly what they deserved. As for the money that was lost, both of them and Susie borrowed from loan sharks, which was just enough to pay me back, but my company, under their destructive influence, was on the verge of collapse. However, the investment I gave my husband worked wonders, and they successfully developed an AI minigame. I also became an investor. The company was revitalized, and its market value exceeded 30 million. And with my husband's team, we have reached a long-term cooperation, thriving and flourishing. Of course, all of this is thanks to my husband. I can't help but marvel once again at how outstanding my husband is. Someone like Fang Jun, a phoenix man, is completely unworthy of being compared to him. This time, I will firmly hold my husband's hand and never let him go again. Soon, on my birthday, my parents, my brother, my mother-in-law, and our family of 3 gathered together for a meal. In my past life, I neglected these people who are the most important and best to me. From now on, I will make it up to them. After the meal, my husband and I snuggled on the balcony, enjoying the breeze together. He held me by the waist, and we watched the sunset together. "Honey, I'm pregnant." 3 months passed, and the pregnancy was stable, so I shared the good news with him. My husband was overjoyed and picked me up, spinning me around in circles. Both of our faces were beaming with unstoppable, radiant smiles. At this moment, I only feel incredibly happy. What awaits us will be an even brighter future. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.